guys. Yeah, Chief Kevin Davis has just walked up to the microphone. He's ready to give us an update. So let's go.
All right, folks, good morning. I'm here to confirm the identity of our shooter in this murder-suicide that happened several hours ago as former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. Former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax shot and killed his wife inside of their home and then shot and killed himself. I think you have the rest of the details that Captain Cosgriff gave earlier this morning, so I'm just going to pause right here and answer any of your questions to the best of my ability right now. I can just tell you, and then I'll go to Drew first, that this has been an ongoing domestic dispute surrounding what seems to be a complicated or messy divorce. So, Drew.
And Chief, that was going to be my question. Can you elaborate on what the investigation has revealed about the status of their marriage? Of course, the kids are what everybody's thinking about, I think, too, in this as well.
So far, what we know is probably what you all know, and I don't think it's a secret that there's been a divorce proceedings that have been ongoing. From what I understand in this early stage, former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served some paperwork associated with an upcoming court proceeding that apparently led to this incident last night. Both of their children, teenagers, the boys older than the girl, were in the house when it happened. So that's horrible news for the family. Certainly a traumatic event for those children to live through. But we know that it all kind of culminated last night when Justin Fairfax shot several times, and killed his wife, ran to a different part of the home, and then killed himself with the same firearm.
I know you just got on scene, but from your briefing, what do you know about the scene inside? What is?
So it seems like, and I know I'm competing with some school buses here. It seems like the murder took place in the basement. It's described to me as a unfinished basement in the home. At some point after Justin shot and killed his wife, he runs upstairs in the home and into the primary bedroom, apparently, and shoots and kills himself.
Have you had any previous domestic calls to this location?
So we checked on that. The question is, have we had any previous domestic or calls for service to this location? In January of this year, Mr. Fairfax calls the police and alleges that his wife assaulted him. We responded to that scene. There are several cameras set up inside the house. Apparently, Mrs. Fairfax, at some point during these divorce proceedings, set up a lot of cameras inside the home. We reviewed those cameras, and we corroborated that the alleged assault never occurred. So there was no arrest made. There was a report written, but the allegation that Mr. Fairfax made in January that Mrs. Fairfax assaulted him was proven to be untrue.
Does the nature of who's involved here, like how does that play into it?
Well, certainly this is a high-profile family. At one point in time, I think it's fair to say that Justin Fairfax, before he was lieutenant governor, while he served as lieutenant governor, and even afterwards, was a rising star politically, not just in Northern Virginia, but in Virginia. So it's high profile in nature. It's tragic in nature. Certainly a fall from grace for a relatively high profile family that seemingly had a lot of things going in their favor. So tragic for the children to lose both parents. Extra tragic for them to actually be in the home when it occurred. So, yeah, there's a lot going on, and our victim services division, like they always do, is leaning into the family, the surviving relatives, the children in particular, and we'll do everything we can for them.
What do we know about the gun?
Then I'll get.
Wife obviously being shot first, and afterwards, the basement upstairs. Did you get all of that from the cameras inside the house today, or how were you able to gather?
So our detectives have gathered that. Certainly, there's enough cameras inside the home that we're able to corroborate some of that. But the one of the children was the 911 caller just after midnight. So he described some things to us as well that we've since corroborated. And I think I heard one question about what do we know about the gun. I don't know anything about the gun yet. The same gun that Mr. Fairfax used to kill his wife seems to be the same gun that he used to kill himself.
Have you recovered any other weapons in the house?
I don't know. Well, we're going to be here for a while. Obviously, we have a search warrant we need to execute to recover evidence, and certainly included in that evidence is the primary firearm that was used and any other firearms. I don't know that they do or don't exist.
I think piggybacking off that question, the cameras were still. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The cameras were still there and rolling and operational, and that's.
I believe they were. I believe they were.
Okay, so he had set up the cameras, and well, we don't know who set up the cameras.
She.
She set up the cameras in the house.
Yes.
Just to clarify, but
Yeah.
he alleged that she assaulted him.
So what we know, I'm going back to January now. What we know is that Mrs. Fairfax, at some point in time, they lived together while they were separated in separate bedrooms. At some point in time, we know Mrs. Fairfax installed several cameras inside the home. And we know that because when Mr. Fairfax called us to their home back in January and alleged that his wife assaulted him in the home, we were able to go to those cameras and determine that never occurred. So that's the only time that the Fairfax County Police Department has ever been at the Fairfax home.
Are family members now with the children?
Yes. So there's grandparents involved, other family members involved. Our victim services division is involved, but so their well-being is a primary concern.
Was the situation with their divorce proceedings, if you notice, that they were continuing to live together in this home, just in separate areas of the home, or did someone return to the home and live together?
Yeah, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. I know that they were separated, living together. I know that there are divorce proceedings that are underway and court appearances that are scheduled and pending in the very near future. I know he was served some paperwork recently. Apparently, the paperwork indicated when he was next to appear in court. That may have been a spark, and detectives will figure that out, that led to this tragedy here. Again, a mother shot and killed, taken from her children, and then he takes his own life.
And no other red flags in this.
So I think family, friends will probably look at this and look at chaos and trauma that people go through, and probably any separation or divorce proceedings, and likely determine that there were red flags along the way in retrospect. But certainly, half of America probably goes through divorce proceedings at some point in time, and very, very rarely, thankfully, does it ever end up like this. So very, very sad for this community and the school buses here, and a lot of people who know the Fairfax family. Everybody's shocked. We're shocked.
It might be too early to know this or not. Do you know if he legally owned a firearm?
I don't know. We'll determine that.
Led to early morning shooting here. Was there a fight inside that we know of?
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to surmise before I get myself in trouble with detectives is that we know that recently Mr. Fairfax was served some type of paperwork indicating when he was scheduled to next appear in court for the ongoing divorce proceedings. So I guess that is something that we're looking at as something that may have led to whatever happened last night that led to the murder of a mother and a wife and a suicide. Under investigation. Obviously, we have two teenage children who are in the house, but our main concern is for their well-being right now. They are interacting with us, and certainly the son was the one who called 911 during a very chaotic situation, and I can only imagine.
Do you know if he was still holding some kind of public position, or what his employment was at this time?
I know Mr. Fairfax is or was an attorney. I know he returned to practice law after he served as lieutenant governor for Virginia. I otherwise don't know exactly what he was doing with his employment or his law practice.
And this was around midnight?
Just after midnight, just a few minutes after midnight.
Did the 911 call come after Mr. Fairfax shot himself, or was there a window in there?
If there was a window, Drew, it was a very short window. So I think it all kind of happened at once. Obviously, the wife is shot and killed before Mr. Fairfax takes his own life. I think it was all at once. There wasn't a pause. There was never a moment where someone was holed up in a room or cops were here and it was it all happened pretty spontaneously.
What was the resolution of his false claim against his wife? Did that just kind of end? Was he cited for making a false report? Or?
No, he wasn't. This is a high bar to charge someone with making a false report. So, but our police officers, patrol officers investigated. They were able to corroborate that it didn't occur back in January. So no files were charges, but a police report was written.
Are there any questions of mental health issues, or will you be testing, after for the body for forensics, like drugs or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know about mental health or behavioral crisis. I do know, and I'm sorry to compete with the noise, that the family was going through seemingly a very tough time with the separation, with the divorce, etc. I can only imagine the stress that the parents felt, the kids felt, and the other family members as well. Yes, Serena Fairfax is our victim. Mrs. Fairfax was a dentist. Mr. Fairfax, obviously, the former lieutenant governor and a lawyer, and 2 teenage children in high school.
Going back to the timeline, by the time police got there, both of them were deceased?
Yes, both pronounced on the scene. Okay.
To the best of your knowledge, just the one incident where police were involved, where he said no other calls.
To the best of my knowledge, it was January of this year, 2026. But we'll obviously dig into that and confirm it. Within minutes of the 911 call. We can get the exact time frame for you. Both teams were home. The son called 911. A what? One boy and a girl. Yeah. Yes. Everything shortly after midnight. And folks, that's all I got. It's kind of one of my practices never to say no more questions. So I'm not saying no more questions, but that's all I have right now. When we get more information, we'll be sure to share it with you. But right now, the focus is on the crime scene investigation and the kids. Thank you all.
Thank you.